Okay. And then there's a fourth layer called custom fader. What this layer does is basically a freely assignable layer that you can put members of these three layers into the fourth layer. Okay, in here I labeled it. See, if you see the labels in here is labeled 1 through 32. These corresponds to anything in 1 through 32 layer. Master, which corresponds to the master layer. 57 through 64. This is really this second layer, 33 to 64, but we're only using 57 to 64 on. Okay, which we use them for effects returns, stereo effects returns. You notice that they're gang because one of them's left, one of them's right. Okay, but these are also represented in the custom fader, so you can access these easier in the custom fader, so that you don't have to keep jumping back through the different layers. Okay, if you notice in the custom fader right here, vocal reverb, drum reverb, plate reverb, and delay. These are what is in here. This is 57, 59, 61, and 63. I grabbed the left side and moved them into the custom fader right here. These four right here. So now notice they're down now. They're down. If I bring them up, custom fader, they're up. Okay. So I just grabbed the left side because you know when you handle the left side, the right side comes with it. Okay. So for example, to access the reverbs, right? If you notice, go back to the custom fader, this mic, for example, background 3, right? If you select background 3, this display corresponds to that channel, all right? And you see 3 is being sent post fader because there's no pre label, right? It's post fader to bus number 13. What is bus 13? You look over here. Bus 13 is reverb hall send, right? So this mic is being sent to a reverb. Reverb hall, I'm using it for vocal reverb. Reverb room, I'm using it for drum reverb. Okay. Plate we're not using right now, and then delay is the tap. You know, the delay which corresponds to this tap tempo right here. But let's go through the hall first. This mic is being set to 13. How do you know that? When you click home, you look at it, it's being, you know, it's set at 0 dB, which means it's nominal gain, nothing added, nothing subtracted. And if you hit master, look at 13. Hey, see that? So you can verify that this mic gets to bus 13. That's how you know. You know, when you're troubleshooting, you know, why the reverb is not coming out on this mic. First of all, see if it gets to the bus 13 first. Bus 13 is being sent to this rack. See that? This rack input is grabbing from internal bus 13, and you see the signal is in, but you're not hearing any reverb right now. So you're wondering why you're not hearing a reverb? Because after it's being processed in this rack, it's being outputted to channel 57 and 58. Okay, where's 57, 58? This layer right here, 32, 64. Boom. 57, 58, they are down right now. Okay, if you raise them, hey, there. If you raise them, it gets sent back into the, you know, the main, in the custom fader, it's actually being sent to here. This is 57 right here. Hey. See? And then in here, it's being sent to the stereo bus, which then gets sent to the house. Okay? Now, you don't want to take this return and open it up again in 13, and that becomes a feedback loop, because then it was a never-ending cycle. Okay? So, custom fader, vocal reverb, hey, you know. So all the, right now, as you can see, worship leaders being sent to that, and all the backgrounds are all sent to 13. Okay, except MC, which is pastor. That's a pastor mic. The pastor mic is dry. It's not being sent to the reverb. Okay. Should there be a need, like for example, if somebody grabs pastor mic and starts singing, you can do that. You can click this, go to 13, open it up. Notice I open it up about what, minus 11. Then that mic, gets sent to the reverb. Okay. Now, there are two ways to send a particular channel to a particular bus. The first way is what I just showed you. You hit select. This represents that channel. You go to that mix and you open it up to the amount that you want. The second way, which is the quicker way, is called Sends on Fader. What you do, make sure you're at home. Okay. You go to the bus that you want. You hit it once. That selects the bus. Make sure the bus is selected, and you hit it again. That becomes Sends on Fader. So that means all this fader will now represent the member of what is being sent to that particular mix. Right now, mix 13 has these. You can adjust them. See, notice that's how I set it. If I want to bring it up to 0, or if I want to bring it down, back down to to minus infinity. If you go back to home, 13 is all the way down. Okay? If I go back to Sends on Fader again, bring it up to 0, go back to home, 13 is being sent to 0. 13 is being sent to mix number, MC is being sent to mix 13 at 0 dB. Okay? So make sure you know whether you're in which layer. You're in if it's blinking or not. If it's blinking, that means you're on Sends on Fader.
How do we trace where mix 13 sent to?
Okay. And first of all, where mix 13 goes to?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, first of all, in here, of course, we already wrote it down. Mix number 13 is a reverb hall send.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's basically all these mixes are just arbitrary internal bus. You send stuff into the bus, and then something needs to grab that bus to go somewhere. So if you go over here into these, okay. So for example, these are the destinations. The rack, the EQs, can use from a particular mix. This rack you see is grabbing from 13, right? Okay. Is that the only use for a mix? No, you can use a mix for a send instead of. Well, this is a send because you send it to this particular rack and then it get processed and then get outputted back into a channel. But another use for a send would be for monitors, right? For example, mix number 9 is stage monitor send, right? You send stuff to mix number 9. 9, boom. See, you send stuff to mix number 9, which this mic is being sent to 9 right now. And if you go to master 9, you see that? Hey.
Okay.
It's being sent to 9. And then where does 9 go? Well, when we set this board up, we told 9 to go to that particular monitor right there. How do you do that? You would, it's actually in here. It's in the setup. Output port setup. There's 16 outputs in the back that are freely assignable to wherever. I hooked up the connection. And if you go back here, they're labeled. Let me see here. I know 1 through 8 would be, okay, 9 is actually 9 over here. This red label channel 32 over here. If you go to channel 32 on the snake over there, that's being connected to the amp room in the back, which then amp room in the back goes to that speaker. Okay? If you hit 9 right here, go to setup, system setup, output port setup. There are 1 through 8 and 9 through 16. If you go to the 916, you hit that. See? Omni 9, which is over here, the output 9, is grabbing from mix number 9.
Oh, okay.
You can change that and grab it from wherever.
Okay.
Okay? So this is where you set where your outputs grab from, and then it gets outputted into those 16. Okay? Any questions so far?
Good.
There are mute groups. I assign in here, you hit this, it mutes the background vocals, unmute the backgrounds, mute drums. Drums are on, you hit this, it mutes the drums.
Okay.
If they're blinking, that means they're muted. Okay? Where do you mute? Where do you set that? Should be in the channel job. There are tabs in here. If you hit it, as you hit it, it goes to different tabs. Mute group, 1, 2, 3, 4. So mute group 4. Let's see. Choose mute group number and press select a number. Yeah. So basically, on 2. Mute group master. Okay. There's mute group, which is an internal group, and then you assign that group to these buttons. These are user-defined keys. So basically, these keys are freely assignable to whatever. In here, I set it to tab tempo, and here I set it to mute group. You can create the mute group first, and then you can go to user-defined. Let me see. Where's user-defined buttons?